Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this lantern. It's designed to have a little battery operated tea light to go inside it, and I can't show you properly because it's so bright in here because of filming, but this is the best that I can do to give you an idea of what it looks like once the candle is inside. And obviously in a less bright room really does look lovely. Because the light flickers, it looks like a candle in there. The paper that I've used for this is the Irresistibly Yours, which was available in Celebration at the beginning of the year. Stampin' Up said that it was a one-off. Once it was gone, it would be gone, and I just totally fell in love with it, so I stocked up with it. Fortunately, Stampin' Up have introduced something like this. It's not identical, but like this in the new annual catalogue. It's got the same embossed, let's see if you can see, this one's got embossed stars on it, there you go, see that. And in the annual catalogue you could buy 12 sheets, 6 that are colours, and the other 6 are plain white, but there's the same designs. The colour one, you have the same design as a white one, but they're not the same as these ones, but they're just as lovely. With the lanterns rather, what I've done is I just keep getting different ideas of how I can switch this around. One of the ideas was this, and I sponged the DSP using real red ink, and then another one I did was I actually just sponged the lantern, and that one I used garden green. The two ribbons are new ones in the Christmas catalogue. And I've got another idea of what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to start here, and when I reach the point where I did the sponging, I'll let you know. And obviously you'll see when I do actually decide to change this up. So that's enough chat from me. The cardstock you're going to need to start off with is the Irresistibly Yours. Let me find out, in the annual catalogue it's called Colour Me Irresistible Specialty Designer Series paper. You see, like that one for example, that's got diagonal stripes on it, and then it's got black with diagonal stripes. That's green with straight stripes, and then white with straight stripes, and it's like that. They're the 5 new in colours plus black. So you could choose any of the designs. So this measures 11 inches by 5 7/8, and then you need 3 pieces of our vellum cardstock, which measure 3 inches by 2 3/8. So the first thing that you need to do is some scoring. So with the scoreboard, you need to score it at 2 5/8 and 5 1/4, 7 7/8 and 10 1/2. Turn it lengthways and score it at 2 5/8. Okay, so that's the only scoring that you need to do. Then fold on your score lines, making sure that when you fold you are actually lining up properly. Use your bone folder because this is pretty thick cardstock. to get our big shot in. And I am going to use, if I don't scrunch up my paper on here, the Delicate Ornament Thinlets, and I'm going to use this small one here. I'm going to be doing my die cutting on the new Precision base plate, which I think is great. I have heard quite a lot of negative feedback. I will say that it does work a lot better when you're using straightforward cardstock rather than this extra and also the glimmer paper, but I still think it's a lot better than using wax paper. I never got on with dryer sheets, but I think it's great, and I'm pleased that I bought one. Right, okay, so the sandwich that you make with this is you have your multi-purpose platform on both tabs, and then you have the Precision base plate, the cardstock, the die, and just one cutting mat. Because this doesn't come out quite as easily as normal cardstock, I do go through twice. Okay, you see it comes out so easily. I've already prepared one of these because it's quite time consuming, and you just go along and do all four. So I will just show you what it's like to get all the pieces out of here. So I just push that to lift that up, and then as you pull it off, everything almost comes out. I can see it's left 1, 2, 3 little bits in there, but otherwise everything has been, just comes out still attached to that. And that looks like a red one left from last time. Yes, it was. Okay, so there's that. Now with most of these you'll find that you can just push them out with your fingers. The smaller ones won't. But I just feel that whatever method you use, you've got to shift the little pieces somewhere. Like with the wax paper, I found that I was having to push the pieces out of my die cut like this, and also pushing the wax out of the actual die. As I say, I never got on with dryer sheets, but even that, I know you have to push the pieces off of your dryer sheets. So that's most of it out. As I say, it's more difficult with this thicker paper, but even this, it just pushes out very easily. I'm just surprised that there aren't many people who speak favourably about it. There we go. I think that was very easy. Be interested to hear what other people have to say, more people have to say about it. Anyway, as I say, you need to go along and do all four. Now, I've already done this one to save the time. I haven't done my scoring yet. I forgot to do that bit, so let me just quickly do that. I really should have done this first. It's not very clever to try and do it once I've cut the shapes out. But it definitely wasn't very clever at all, was it? Never mind, we can cope. Just not as easily as had I done it first. Okay, so the next thing that I do before I start putting the lantern itself together, I'm going to put the vellum on, and the way I do this, I use Tombow. Just clear that little bit off, and I put Tombow round the edge of the space for the bauble. Why is it this works all the time? I'm working away here during the afternoon, and then all of a sudden it decides to get blocked up. Come on, this isn't right. Oh, that's better. There's like a little plug in there which I've just managed to get out. Okay, let's try again. Right, that's better. So just put the Tombow around the edge and then round the square. Oops, that was a bit generous. Around the edges of my vellum. And then pop that over the top. And then the next one. And the vellum. Pop that one on. I'm quite surprised actually how very little the Tombow shows through. I've always been told that it's difficult to work with vellum because glue always shows through whatever you use. So I expected this to be very, very obvious, but it isn't. When you have a look, see what it's like when it's dried, I think it's quite amazing. Right, okay. Now, the bit that I'm going to change up this time, what I've done ahead of time, is for the baubles, I'll still need this, don't I? I've actually die cut mine out of red glimmer paper, and I'm going to pop these in here. I thought that would be a nice change. I mean, you could use any colours. Okay, so the way I pop these in is I carry on using Tombow, and I put the top piece a little bit all the way around the outside, and then I put some on the thick line there, and some on the thick line there. Let me just bring it up to show you where I've done that. Oh, you can see the two thick lines going across, that one and that one. You can do a little bit here because that's quite thick, little piece there. Anywhere where there's quite a gap, because what you don't want is for the glue to start oozing out, and it will do if you put it on all the thin bits. Okay, so that just fits in really nicely, and then if you turn it over and then just rub like that to make sure it all adheres down nicely. Okay, now that's going to look really lovely. Okay, so there's number 2. Obviously it just slips in there really nicely. There we go, put that one. Another idea I had of doing this is the obviously our foil paper. That would look nice, because this in the Christmas catalogue, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but we do have red foil. So I think any of those would look nice. We have red, silver and gold. And of course any of the coloured cardstock. Oh, I've got a little piece left in there, look at that. Now see that? I've got one bit left there. That's better. Pop that in. And then the last one, there we go. Now let me just very quickly tell you, if you wanted to do these, on this one, do your sponging as soon as you've finished die cutting out your shapes, and when you do the bottoms here, apart from the one that's next door but one to your flap there, which would be this one here, that you need to do ink sponge all over it. But these ones you only need to sponge on the 4 sides. You don't need to do in the middle, because the middle is going to be totally hidden under here. Equally, if you wanted to sponge these, now is the time to do it before you put them in like this. Okay, so now what I need to do is what should we do first? Cut, I think. So you need to cut on all these lines here, just up as far as that score line, and this section here has got to be cut out altogether. So as you're cutting up, miter the cuts. You will find that, in fact I'm going to do it this side, I found it easier cutting from here. So start out a little bit and then take your scissors up to the point, and then start out a bit from this side and again go up to the point. So you're taking out a very, very thin long to thin triangle. Okay, oops, like that. Also take a little slither of a triangle off this end as well, taking it just up to your score line there. And then this one, excuse me, take your scissors out like the mitre, stop there and then just cut the whole piece off. There we go. Now I do still prefer to use my red sticky strip. Oh, I know, something else before I forget. This piece here, as you fold it over, you may find, like I have, that it's going to block that bauble there, and you probably can't see it from here, but you can, I don't know, can you see it? You can just about see that it is blocking some. Yes, you can. See how it's blocking a bit of the gap there? You can't see through the vellum. So what I do is I take my 1 3/4 inch circle punch, and I slide this piece in, just a very, very small bit, not far, and then I try and line up this. You've got a patent registration number across here, and I think number 9 is about centre, and I try and line that 9 up with this central line here. Then I feel that I'm almost in the centre, and you can see what a small amount I have coming through here, and all I do is punch that out, so I've got this little curve, and then as it folds, crikey, that really is spot on, and you can see how that goes on to the outside of the circle. Right, it's not blocking any of the vellum. Okay. So we're going to use our red sticky strip. Right, get my non-stick scissors. And this one's going to be my front flap. So I'm going to put red sticky strip all the way round. No, sorry, not all the way round, on 3 sides. There's a bit more cutting that I've forgotten to tell you to do as well. Okay, so I just run my fingernail along like that because it does help to get that red backing off. The other bit of cutting I was going to say to do is off of these 3, cut about ½ an inch off the bottom. It just helps to get a nice neat base at the bottom of this. It helps it close in a bit nicer. Okay, so the other bit that I need to, and I've put my red sticky strip on the wrong piece, haven't I? Well, I'm not going to start the video again. Forget that I've done that. I should have put it on this side. What I will do is I will do this correctly, and then to cover up my mistake I will cut out a square of the same paper and stick that on the base to cover up. In fact, I'll use a red sticky strip to cover up the my mistake. Okay, so that will be like that. That's going to be coming in like that, and then that one needs it on the inside as well. Okay, so the inside of this end one as well, that's the opposite end of the small flap. Okay. So first of all I'm going to take this piece off. And then close this. Whenever you're doing a box like this, you should be able to just close this down. There we go. Unless you're doing an irregular shape box, that is, of course. Right, so that those two are going to be going in like that, and then this one I'm going to put to cover up that one. Okay, so let's do that one first. Right, so I'm going to hold my box straight while I pop that one down. And then this one, take these three sides off. And then close that over. As I say, what I'm going to do is I'll cut a piece of white to cover this. I'll put another piece of red sticky there and peel these off and stick it on the bottom. So not the end of the world. It was a silly thing to do, but never mind. Now the bows that I'm using on here I have made from the what do we call this? Jute band. Oh, jute ribbon. 1 1/4 inch jute ribbon. Sorry, I think that was a bit high, wasn't it? And what I've done is I just cut 2 strands along here. In fact, that's just peeling off nicely now that I've cut some. And then I tied the little bows. And they're quite nice because although they're hairy bows, let me show you, they're nice because they've come up as little double bows. So it's just something a little bit different. And I'm going to adhere these using glue dots. But what I will need to do is to roll these up a bit, because the knot on these is really quite small. Okay, so I've rolled that up quite small. See that? And that's just going to fit on the back there. And I'm going to pop it. I'm popping my bows on that little gap there. See, there's a cut which is meant to be the end of the silver top on the bauble, and I'll just put my bows like that. Okay. And there's one. I think that looks quite attractive like that. It's certainly something a little bit different. So that's one video, but 4 ideas for actually doing the lanterns. Well, several actually, because I've suggested you can use the foil, you could use all sorts of paper, you could use the plain cardstock, possibly even DSP. In fact, absolutely, you know, choose what you like to do these. Obviously the ones that I've cut out from here, I've still got them, so I will use these somehow. I might sponge them, I don't know, loads of things I can do. It's great. I love ideas like this because there's just no ending to it, just so many things. Well, I feel that I've done a lot of talking today. I hope it's not been too much. Many thanks for watching my video. If you have any questions, please ask. Also, if you've got any suggestions of what else you could use in here, I'd love to hear. Please leave a comment in the box below. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button on the right hand side of your screen, or it may be underneath the screen depending what you're watching the video on. If you'd like to buy any of the products that I featured here, please click on the link below for my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.